Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before I get started, the housekeeping notes. All the dimensions and all the product I'm using are listed below. There's a link to my online store if you wish to purchase any of these products and help support this channel. There's my Facebook group, we'd love to have you join that. And my email if you have any questions. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe and help me grow in YouTube world. This is Memorable Blooms out of the mini catalog. We're going to be playing with that again today, and we're going to be playing with Starstruck embossing folder from the Celebration catalog. This is a pretty simple card. I think it's a very beautiful card. We have an envelope. It says, "Thanks so much," and this is our card. Now I know this is probably a strange color combination. This is Lemon Lolly and Coastal Cabana with a little bit of Granny Apple Green. And it opens up this way and this way. Now, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to hold this up close. Can you see that this is embossed across here? And I'm going to show you how to do that embossing as well. So, we'll get started, and I just realized I forgot to take out one stamp, so let me grab that real fast. And we will get started. So, let's get our parts that we need to stamp, and we'll go from there. Now, before you can stamp, I really recommend this, is you need to score your piece. And I'm going to show you on the top of the inside, because the inside's scored as well. But if you're going to be stamping something down here, going across those score lines, you don't want to do the scoring there. But I want the scoring at the top, so I make sure I get my message in the right place. So how you do this? It is so simple. Just going to do the top of this. We'll come back and do the other sides in a minute. I'm going to put this at 1/8 with my in the track here. Score. 1/4 inch. Score. I'm going up by an eighth, not even a 1/4 inch, sorry. Going an 1/8 of an inch at a time. So there's the 3 we just did. Now we'll come put the other sides back on after we do the stamping and the coloring. So let me grab a piece of scratch paper, which I had sitting here a minute ago, because we're going to be stamping off on this one. I am using Smoky Slate and Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to use this great big flower. And I'm just going to do the top of this for now, because I'm just going to stamp about like that across that little section. And then I have a piece of scrap paper, which is right here, and we'll do the whole thing. This is the one we'll be die cut. Like that. And then we need to do our 2 pieces. So this is the one that I've done clear around. That's for the front. And we're going to stamp that in Coastal Cabana. And this one we're going to say, "Love and Thanks." Get this scrap paper out of my way now. And I want to stamp this in the center, right above those score lines. Just like that. And the one we just did the top, okay, there it is. Sorry, I had to locate it. We are going to stamp, "I appreciate your thoughtfulness." And the reason I want that line, those lines in there, so I know to come down far enough. Oh, that's okay. So that's that part. And then the envelope, we're just stamping, "Thanks so much." Just like that. Well, the next thing we need to do is do a little coloring. Now this one I'm going to be coloring with watercolor pencils and a blender pen. Now, typically when you're doing watercolor pencils, you want to take and use a solvent-based ink, not water-based ink. This is water-based. All of ours are except for StazOn. But I didn't want something that dark. You can do this, but you need to be very careful. By careful, I mean you don't want to go over the lines very harsh. So what I did with this is I'm just scribbling in some green where the leaves are. And not getting too precise, just staying inside the lines. Going a little darker in the center. Little leaves here. And here. That's flower, leaves here. That's leaf, that's leaf. And just going around here and coloring the leaves all green real fast. I like pencils. I like watercolor pencils. I like regular pencils too. And then I'm going to take this, and where did that scratch paper go I had here? Have a piece of scratch paper here and make sure that you brush off your tip so that you don't have anything. And I'm going to try to scoot this in just a hair. Maybe. Just a moment here. I don't want to go too far. That should be about right. And you just go inside the lines and just blend your... But wherever those gray lines are, I'm not hitting them hard with this blender pen. I don't know what's in the blender pen. I just call it the magic pen. And it smooths out all those scribble lines you just made. And you can make this as dark as you want. You want to add more color. And I'm going to be adding more color into some of the flowers. And I'll show you how to do that. But I'm just blending those colors out a little bit so there's no scribble and it's a little harsher. Don't want to rub over to one area too much or your paper will peel. But that's the end of the green. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do the Coastal Cabana. Now, oh, I forgot it. Hang on. You guys are all yelling, you forgot a leaf, you forgot a leaf. I know that. That's one thing. You go around and just fix it up. Just like that. So Coastal Cabana is this great big flower here. We'll make that part of the flower. And I'm just going in here and just make a little circles. Staying inside the lines, of course. Now where the flower folds over, I'm going to press a little harder and get a little more color in there. And right here in the center, I'm just going to do a little more color. And this is actually supposed to be blue too, so we'll take that over here and put a little blue in there. Just blending out the lines. That's all this pen does. Now, I want a little more color in the inside. Take your pen, pencil I should say. Take this and flick it on there. Now get a little more right in these areas here, a little darker. So a little distinction in there. And now we're going to do the yellow, which is Daffodil Delight. And we are going to do all these small flowers in the daffodil. Like I said, it's real. I'm not getting very fancy. I am just, make sure your pen's clean. Just blending out those colors now. That's the joy of watercolor pencils. You can just blend them out. We're going to come back and give a little more color to a couple of these. right, I want to add a little more to a couple of those. You can do it that way, or you can come back here and do it this way. And this is probably the faster way. I just want to make those tips. And I want this side piece a little darker and this one here. Just to add a little contrast. So either way works. Now you're saying, and clean off your pen before you're done, when you're done. So you don't forget, and then you don't rub it off and you come back and you have another color where you don't want it. So always clean it. Now you're saying, oh, she's got that big flower to color. I already did it. Save the time. I just wanted to show a little piece. So now we need to go back and finish doing this part. So if I can get my camera back out here. Okay, now let's finish doing the scoring on this really quickly. Because it's so much easier to color without the scoring. We're doing 1/8 inch, another 1/8 inch, and another 1/8 inch. And we just go round and around. It just takes a minute, but it just adds something so beautiful to your card. I'll hold this up so you can see it through there. You could purchase one score line. You could put 2. You could put a whole bunch more than 3. I thought 3 was sufficient to give me a nice border. I'll hold this up. So you can see all those score lines going through the flowers and stuff. But trying to score prior to coloring is not a good idea. So we have our 2 panels. Now it's time to build the card base. We need a piece of lemon lolly that is 4 by 5 1/4, and we are going to emboss it. So I need plates 1 and plate 4. I need the embossing machine, and I need the embossing folder that is buried down here. This is the Starstruck embossing folder that's in the mini catalog that you can get with for free with a $60 order. Oh, this is not a 3D. Sorry, I was wrong. I thought this was a 3D. It's not. It is a standard folder. So you need plate 1 and 2 plate 3s. Sorry about that. And there's our beautiful embossed paper. So get the embossing plates out of my way here. And we're going to get our paper trimmer back into here. Because for the base of our card, we need 2 pieces. This is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. Definitely needs burnished. This is Coastal Cabana. I used to use Coastal Cabana all the time when I had Bermuda Bay, but I don't use it as much as I used to. And I decided I wanted to use some colors I don't always use. So we'll set that aside for a moment. This particular piece we need to cut on a diagonal this way. So I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to put this right in the track and the tip in the track. Just like that. Move my blade up here. So I'm starting in the middle. That way you don't get squished corners. This piece, still perfectly good to use. Then, our piece we just embossed. When you're getting ready to cut it, you want to look at your cutting angle and make sure you cut this at the exact same angle as your card. If you don't, it won't work. We're going to line this up in the corner and right in the track, corner to corner, and cut it. Now you could use DSP on this if you wanted, but I thought embossing would be sort of pretty. So we're ready to get started and build this card. So first we're going to put this piece on first. I'm not putting glue clear, I'm putting glue, I'm just dragging a little bit of glue out to the corners so the corners don't lift up on the card. And we're going to put it in here, and you're going to have a small, whoop, hang on. Make sure your borders are pretty even. You could use tape on this, but I'll tell you, having wiggle room is nice. That one goes on there. Drag a bit of glue in those corners. And then this one goes on here, just like that. So that's the base of the card. Now the next piece, this is a piece of Coastal Cabana that is 9 by 3 and it's scored at 4.5. And these are where we're going to be mounting our pieces onto. So this one is the one that goes on the inside. Just like that. And then this one gets on the front. And then we're going to mount this on here. As soon as I pull a little glue off my fingers. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to try to line this up as straight as you can and center it in the card, but you want to make sure that this will still close down. So I'm looking at everywhere, square, make sure it does close, which it does. So that's about where I want it. So I'm going to glue this down. These are very easy cards to put together, but they're cute. So I want to center this as best you can. I'm using my grid a little bit here. I can see that my hit tip's up there, so it will still close. Okay, so we got that and that. Now we're going to put this on, and we're going to put this on with dimensionals, and it's just going to lay across here like that. One more right here. I thought this one actually would make a very nice sympathy card too, but I decided not to make a sympathy because I needed some thank you cards. And put it at an angle like that. And then we need to dress this up a little bit. So I have taken, this is the Baker's Twine, the 3-pack color. It's the one that has the lemon lolly in it. I've made me a little bow, double bow. I'm just taking my glue dot and putting it right in the center. And then I'm going to pop this right about there. Make sure the glue dot's all tucked underneath there. And that one string's a little too long. A little closer to the same size as the other one. Now I don't care if it hangs over, it'll move, you know, go over the sentiment, it's okay. And then I looked for bling, and I decided to go with iridescent pearls on this. So it's such a classy looking card. And so I'm going to go with one large one about there, and then take 2 small ones up here. And that is the card for today. It's very simple. I think it has a big wow factor. And you can see all the embossing on there. And when I open, there's still more embossing on the inside to just add a little extra touch to the card. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.